we're going to continue with our Amira LeAkum. So we talked about remiza derech tzivoy, when you hint an implied request. We talked about no-nos under certain circumstances. You can never string a certain types of words together when appealing to a non-Jew to help you with surviving with your Shabbos restrictions. And we talked about Amira LaAmira, when you tell a non-Jew to tell a non-Jew to tell a non-Jew to tell his brother to tell his cousin, if that's a difference, right? And we talked about even if you tell somebody to do something before Shabbos, you should do it, meaning if he's going to do something on Shabbat at the post office, right? One may ask a non-Jew to bring an important overnight package to the post office or delivery service on Friday. You can ask him to do it on Friday, because when you know it'll have to be done on Shabbos. You can't do it on Shabbos, right? For a scheduled delivery, it's like, okay. So now, circumstances under which Amir LeAkum is totally permitted.
Which Siman are you reading?
Huh?
Siman? Which Siman are you learning?
We're learning Siman D on page 73. In Siman D. Yeah.
What's Siman D?
I don't know. Siman D of what? We're not learning Shulchan Aruch. We're learning Hilchot Shabbos in the 39 Melachot by Rabbi David Ribia. Highly recommend it. We're not learning a Siman. We're learning a sugya of Amir LeAkum. He does things in sugyot arranged in quarter. This is the intro, but he wants to do melachot. So it's arranged in melachot, not according to necessarily the Rambam or the Shulchan Aruch, but it'll be a sugya that takes from all the different places to present a cogent kind of topical sugya. Where before the malachos themselves, we're discussing all the things that are not malachos, like the derabanans and the iser of mimtzol cheftecha and daber davar and shvus. We're talking about specifically the rabbanans, and within that we're doing all the various halachos of Amira LeAkum. Amira LeAkum. An akum is ayin chaf vav mem avodas koch. Oh, Amira. Okay, circumstances under which Amir LeAkum is permitted. There are some circumstances under which direct Amir LeAkum and Hana'ah, meaning, remember, we said that the Hana'ah, the type of benefit that is precluded from this type of arrangement, is what we call a positive benefit, right? Saving money or cutting losses, meaning keeping losses from happening, or is not considered like a great creative additive benefit that would be not permitted. So here we're saying, okay, meaning Hana'ah we talked about in terms of Amir LeAkum had to be a certain type of benefit, a positive benefit. So here are some of the circumstances that they are permitted. When a person, Chalila, has an illness or indisposition, I guess indisposition is a fancy English way of saying not quite an illness, like extreme discomfort. Okay, mitzvah needs, right? We already started contrasting certain mitzvah needs, like if a minyan needs to get together to daven, maybe you can find a way for the light to go on. But if you want to be able to eat your Shabbos meal, that's not enough to have somebody turn light, all right? So these are certain mitzvah needs. Bein hashmashot. You know what bein hashmashot is?
The twilight zone.
Indeed. So basically, there is a zone between absolute day and absolute nightfall, which is the twilight zone. And for some things, it retains the halacha of day, and for some things at night. I mean, there's certain things about the day you can still do minish mashot, and there's certain things about night. It's right? Okay. So the point is that in that time where it's not total nightfall yet of Shabbos, this period, which is kind of like in between, it's the gray zone. It's also a gray zone when it comes to these halachos, and therefore you have more latitude. We're going to discuss the implications of Amir LeAkum specifically before its actual nightfall on Shabbos, even after you've already taken in Shabbos. Okay? So the three issues we're going to discuss once again is there's all the halachos that have to do with somebody who's feeling physically under the weather or ill. So all the rabbinic prohibitions of Shabbos are different. Because the rabbis, when it came to illness, they structured, that all of their prohibitions have to respond in a certain way to illness. That's a very particular consideration. But it's not just like all the rabbinical restrictions go off. They behave a certain way. Well, we'll get to that later, okay? But there's basically the category of illness, category of mitzvah. The Chazal said, we want to save Shabbos, preserve Shabbos, so we're going to give you extra precautions, but we don't want those precautions to get in the way of empowering you to do what the Torah also told you to do. You have a mitzvah to do, we're not going to get in the way of your mitzvah because of our... By the way, there are the opposite of that are you have at least two mitzvah obligations from the Torah that are uprooted by the Rabbanan, by the Chacham. The Chacham took away from you they restricted you from doing the actual mitzvah. I'll give you an example. Shofar, you have to blow shofar from the Torah, Rosh Hashanah. On Shabbos, you still have to blow the shofar. Chazal said, listen, the Torah told you to blow a shofar, but we're telling you, don't you dare touch that shofar. Because if you touch that shofar, you might take the shofar to somebody else to show you how to blow, and you might take it outside the domain, and you'll end up breaking Shabbos. So on the chance that you might break Shabbos, they forbade us to handle a shofar with the Torah told us you have to blow. Similarly, lulav, shaking lulav. The mitzvah d'oraita outside of Yerushalayim to shake the lulav is only on the first day of Sukkot. Chazal say, if it's Shabbos, we don't let you. I know the Torah told you have to, but we don't let you. And you know what? The Torah told us that we're allowed to tell you that you're not allowed to. So that's an interesting phenomenon. Over here, all the precautions that the Chazal gave us in terms of Shabbos, they also gave us when to apply them, when not. And they said, for the concerns for mitzvah needs, generally, we're not going to let those restrictions of ours, we want to limit to how much they're going to limit your obligations to perform the mitzvahs. Okay? And the other category, once again, is the twilight zone. Okay, so number one, we're just going to do a little bit here. Illness and indisposition. Okay, the sages waived the restrictions of Amira LeAkum for the needs of an ill person, even if the illness is not life-threatening. It doesn't, meaning, pikuach nefesh, when things are life-threatening, obviously, you don't have to keep the halacha. Here, it's not pikuach nefesh, and the Chazal, and the sages said, Amira LeAkum will not get in the way of this. Therefore, one may ask a non-Jew to perform even a malacha midioraita for the sake of an ill person. Since it's only prohibited from the rabbis, to ask a non-Jew to violate Shabbos for me, right? So if a person's sick, the rabbi said, you can tell him. So I can actually ask a non-Jew to do something dioraita from the Torah that I'm not allowed to do on Shabbos for an ill person. Okay, I'm just going to do these examples, and we'll call it a day. Okay. A hospital patient may ask a non-Jewish nurse to raise the heat, adjust the air conditioning, adjust his electric bed, etc. Directly. Doesn't have to hint, doesn't have to anything, right? A person suffering from the flu may ask a non-Jewish neighbor to buy him medicine. One who is suffering from severe pain and is either confined to a bed as a result or would take to bed if doing so would offer him relief is certainly classified as an ill person and may ask a non-Jew to do a malacha for him if this will help him give him relief. Example. One who is suffering from severe toothache or earache may ask a non-Jew to call the doctor or the dentist for a prescription or go to the pharmacy in order to obtain relief. Anything he has to do. One who suffers from migraine headaches may ask a non-Jew to buy medication for him to obtain relief. A non-Jew may be asked to turn on the heat on a very cold day because Chazal have a rule that in regards to cold, everyone is classified as ill. Meaning we always have meaning anybody who's in danger from the cold of being put into, meaning Chazal say you can do that. Okay, we're going to pause here. Baruch Hashem li'olam, amen.
Yeah.
Thank you.